I never expected a simple favor to upend my life. But that's exactly what happened when I pulled up to Jake's old Victorian house in suburban Chicago that sweltering July afternoon. Jake, my college buddy from Northwestern, had begged me to help with renovations over the weekend, promising cold beers and endless pizza as payment. As I stepped out of my beat-up Honda, wiping sweat from my brow, a tall figure emerged from the garage, his sleeves rolled up, revealing toned arms dusted with sawdust. Jake's father, David Thompson, looking every bit the rugged architect he was. David extended a firm hand, his grip steady and warm. "You must be Alex. Jake's told me all about you. Thanks for coming out. We could use an extra pair of hands." His voice was deep, resonant, like the low hum of a well-tuned engine, and his eyes, a piercing blue, held mine just a second longer than necessary. I shook it off as the heat playing tricks, but as we dove into stripping wallpaper in the living room, I found myself stealing glances. David wasn't just helping. He was leading the charge, his movements efficient and purposeful, sharing stories of the house's history with a passion that made the mundane task feel alive. Jake was his usual self, cracking jokes and blasting indie rock from his phone, but David brought a different energy, thoughtful, introspective. Over lunch on the porch, as we munched on sandwiches, he asked about my job as a graphic designer in the city. "Sounds creative," he said, leaning back in his chair. "I envy that. Architecture's all about structure, but design, that's where the soul comes in." I laughed, explaining how I felt stuck in corporate gigs, dreaming of freelance freedom. He nodded, his expression empathetic. "Life's too short for regrets, Alex. I learned that the hard way after losing my wife 5 years ago." The vulnerability in his tone caught me off guard, stirring something unfamiliar in my chest. As the day wore on, we tackled the kitchen demo, hammers swinging in rhythm. Jake stepped out to grab supplies, leaving David and me alone amid the debris. "You're good at this," David remarked, passing me a crowbar. Our fingers brushed, and a spark jolted through me. Not literal, but electric nonetheless. I mumbled thanks, focusing on prying up floorboards, but my mind raced. I'd been out since college, dated a few guys, but this, attraction to my best friend's dad? It felt wrong, taboo, like crossing an invisible line society had drawn in bold ink. That evening, as the sun dipped low, we called it quits. Jake invited me to crash on the couch, and over dinner, grilled steaks David prepared, the conversation flowed effortlessly. David shared tales of his travels in Europe during his younger days, building schools in remote villages. "It changed how I see the world," he said. "Made me realize connections matter more than blueprints." I opened up about my strained relationship with my conservative parents back in Ohio, how coming out had fractured our family. "They still call, but it's surface level," I admitted. David's hand rested on the table near mine, his presence a quiet anchor. "Family's complicated," he replied softly. "But chosen family? That's where the real strength lies." Lying on the couch that night, sleep evaded me. The house creaked with age, mirroring my swirling thoughts. Why did David's words linger? Was it admiration, or something deeper? By morning, I convinced myself it was nothing, but as we resumed work, painting the hallway, our interactions grew charged. David asked about my art, genuinely interested, and I showed him sketches on my phone. "These are incredible," he said, his face close to mine as we scrolled. The proximity sent my heart racing, and I pulled back, excusing myself for water. Jake noticed my distraction. "You okay, man? You seem off." I brushed it off as fatigue, but inside, conflict brewed. Society whispered judgments. Age gaps, power dynamics, the betrayal of friendship. Yet, David's kindness felt genuine, a balm to my isolation. As the weekend progressed, small moments piled up. A shared laugh over a botched paint job, his hands steadying me on a ladder. By Sunday, when Jake thanked me profusely, I left with more than sore muscles. I carried a secret spark, unsure if it would ignite or fizzle. Weeks passed, but the renovation wasn't done. Jake texted, needing help with electrical work. I hesitated, then agreed, telling myself it was for him. David was there again, and our conversations deepened. He confessed his loneliness since his wife's passing, how raising Jake alone had been his focus. "I haven't dated much," he admitted one afternoon, as we wired outlets. "Feels like starting over at 50. My pulse quickened. Was he hinting? I shared my own dating woes, superficial apps, fleeting connections. "It's hard finding someone who sees beyond the surface," I said. Our eyes met, and for a moment, the air thickened with unspoken possibility. That night, after Jake crashed early, David and I sat on the back deck with beers. Stars dotted the sky, and crickets chirped. "Alex, you're easy to talk to," he said. "Reminds me of what I've been missing." I swallowed hard, the words tumbling out. "Me too." It wasn't a confession, but it hung there, pregnant with meaning. As I drove home, regret and excitement warred within me. What was I doing? This could ruin everything, Jake's trust, our friendship. Yet the pull was undeniable, a magnetic force defying logic. The invitations kept coming, not just from Jake, but subtly from David too. A text about needing advice on color schemes turned into hours of discussion, evolving into shared meals. I found excuses to visit, each time the tension building like storm clouds over Lake Michigan. One evening, as we installed new cabinets, Jake stepped out for a date, leaving us alone. David poured wine and we talked about dreams deferred. "I always wanted to write a book on sustainable architecture," he revealed. But life got in the way. I encouraged him, feeling a warmth spread through me. As the night deepened, our conversation turned personal. David spoke of his marriage, loving but platonic in later years. "I loved her, but I wonder now if I was living authentically." His words hinted at unspoken truths, mirroring my own journey. "Coming out wasn't easy," I shared. "Lost friends, family distance." He placed a hand on my shoulder, comforting. "You're brave, Alex. Braver than I was at your age." The touch lingered, sending shivers down my spine. We pulled apart when Jake returned, but the seed was planted. Society's shadows loomed larger. Whispers in my mind echoed cultural taboos. The May-December romance, the friend's-parent trope laden with controversy. Was this predatory? Exploitative? I wrestled with ethics, researching online forums late at night, reading stories of similar relationships, some thriving, others crumbling under judgment. Friends noticed my distraction. One, Sarah, probed, "What's got you so preoccupied?" I deflected, but inside, guilt gnawed. Jake was like a brother. Betraying him felt unforgivable. Yet David and I grew closer. A weekend trip to a hardware store turned into a detour to a local art fair, where we wandered booths discussing pieces. "This one reminds me of you. Vibrant, unapologetic," he said, pointing to an abstract painting. I blushed, our arms brushing. Back at the house, as Jake barbecued, David and I stole moments in the kitchen. "I enjoy your company," he whispered. My response was a smile, but my heart pounded. The first crack appeared when Jake overheard a phone call. "I'd been talking to David about a design project," laughter evident. "Who was that?" Jake asked casually. "Just a client." I lied, the words tasting bitter. Deception wasn't my style, but fear held me back. That night, alone in my apartment, I paced, weighing options. End it before it began, or pursue what felt real. Choice loomed, heavy with consequence. As renovations neared completion, so did our unspoken bond. One rainy afternoon, confined indoors sanding floors, David opened up about his youth. "I had feelings for a guy in college," he confessed quietly. "But the 80s weren't kind to that. I buried it, married, built a life." His vulnerability cracked my resolve. "It's never too late," I said, our hands meeting over the sander. Time stopped. Eyes locked, we leaned in, but pulled back at Jake's approaching footsteps. Conflict escalated internally. Society preached acceptance, but age-disparate gay relationships often faced scrutiny, accusations of daddy issues, imbalance. I journaled furiously, sorting emotions. admiration for David's wisdom, attraction to his stability, fear of judgment. Was this love or escapism? The drama intensified when David invited me to a family dinner, sans renovation pretext. Jake raised an eyebrow. You two hitting it off? I nodded vaguely, pulse racing. At dinner, tension simmered. Jake's girlfriend, Mia, joined, lightening the mood, but David's glances my way spoke volumes. After, as we cleared dishes, he murmured, "We need to talk." In the study, away from ears, he admitted, "I have feelings for you, Alex. It's complicated, but real." My breath caught. "Me too," I replied. We didn't kiss, restraint held, but the admission ignited hope and dread. Jake's suspicion grew. He confronted me privately. "Something's up with you and Dad. He's happier lately, and you're around more." I denied, but cracks showed. Social pressures mounted. A news article about a similar couple facing backlash mirrored my fears. Friends' opinions varied, some supportive, others wary. "Age gap's huge," one said. "What about power dynamics?" Debates raged in my mind, logic clashing with emotion. The turning point came during a heated argument. Jake discovered texts innocent, but telling. "What the hell, Alex?" he yelled in the garage. "My dad? Really?" Hurt flashed in his eyes, betrayal raw. David intervened, calm but firm. "It's not what you think, son, but feelings are there." Jake stormed out, leaving us in silence. Guilt crushed me. Had I destroyed their family? Choices crystallized. Walk away, or fight for what felt right amid controversy. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Jake avoided me for days, his texts curt, our friendship hanging by a thread. I retreated to my apartment, replaying the confrontation, questioning every decision. David called, his voice steady. "We didn't plan this, Alex, but denying it won't help." We met at a neutral coffee shop in the Loop, away from the house's ghosts. Over lattes, we dissected the mess. Age difference, societal stigma, Jake's pain. "It's not just us," I said, stirring my cup. "People will judge. Call it inappropriate." David nodded, lines etching his face. "I know. I've lived through worse prejudices. But at 50, I've learned happiness is worth the fight." His resolve bolstered mine, but doubt lingered. Online, forums buzzed with debates. Age gaps in gay relationships? Empowering or problematic? Opinions split, fueling my inner turmoil. Some saw empowerment in defying norms. Others warned of exploitation. Jake's anger manifested in distance. He canceled plans, focused on work as a software engineer. Mia mediated, texting me, "Give him time. He's processing." I respected that, but loneliness crept in. David and I stole moments, walks in Grant Park, talks about future dreams. "I want to travel again," he shared, "with someone who gets me." The romance blossomed subtly, through shared vulnerabilities, not passion. Yet each meeting amplified risks. Social conflicts arose externally. At a work event, a colleague spotted us dining. Whispers followed. "Isn't that guy old enough to be his father?" Judgment stung, highlighting broader issues, how LGBTQ relationships still face scrutiny, especially unconventional ones. I confided in Sarah, who advised caution. "Society's progressing, but not everywhere. Think about Jake." Her words echoed, adding layers to the drama. A breakthrough came when Jake agreed to talk. We met at a bar near Wrigley Field, beers loosening tongues. "Why Dad?" he asked, hurt evident. "Of all people," I explained honestly. "It started as respect, grew into more. I didn't mean to hurt you." Tears welled. He admitted fears. Losing his dad to someone new, reliving his mother's absence. Mom's gone. And now this? Vulnerability bridged the gap, but resolution eluded. David joined later, the three of us navigating awkward terrain. "I love you both," he said. "This isn't about replacing anyone." Jake listened, but reservations lingered. "It's weird, Dad. People will talk." David countered. "Let them. Life's too short for others' opinions." The conversation sparked hope, but tensions simmered, high drama in every pause. As autumn leaves fell, our bond tested further. David's firm hosted a gala. He invited me as a friend. Rumors swirled among colleagues, one confronting him. Dating someone half your age? Bold. David defended gracefully. Age is a number. Connection is everything. I admired his poise, but insecurity gnawed. Was I ready for public scrutiny? Personal choices weighed heavy. I considered ending it, sparing Jake pain, but David's support during my parents' visit changed that. They came to Chicago, tensions high from my coming out. David offered advice. Be true to yourself. Their dinner was strained, judgments veiled, but his encouragement fortified me. Post-visit, we shared a quiet evening, his presence a sanctuary. Yet, controversy peaked at a family gathering. Jake's aunt, conservative, overheard whispers. This is unnatural, she declared. Debate ensued, generational clashes on love, acceptance. Jake defended us tentatively. It's their life. The room divided, mirroring societal divides. I felt exposed, choices scrutinized. In the aftermath, David and I reflected. Worth it? I asked. He squeezed my hand. Absolutely. But doubts persisted, logic demanding examination. Was pursuing this selfish, or a stand against norms? The drama intensified, pushing toward climax. Winter blanketed Chicago, mirroring the chill in our dynamics. Jake thawed slowly, inviting me to holiday prep, decorating the now renovated house. Awkward at first, but shared memories warmed us. David and I maintained discretion, but stolen glances betrayed us. One evening, stringing lights, Jake quipped, "You two are obvious." Laughter broke ice, but underlying issues bubbled. External pressures mounted. A local LGBTQ group hosted a panel on relationships. I attended, hearing stories of age gap couples facing discrimination. One speaker shared, "Society loves to police us. Straight norms imposed on queer lives." It resonated, fueling my resolve. But backlash came via social media. An anonymous post about inappropriate pairings hit close, sparking online debates. Friends divided. Some cheered defiance, others cautioned fallout. David faced professional ripples. A client, hearing rumors, questioned his judgment. Personal life affects business, they implied. He stood firm. My work speaks for itself. The stress showed, lines deepening, but he confided, "This tests us, but strengthens too." Our talks deepened, exploring emotions, fear of loss, joy in discovery. "You've awakened parts of me I thought dormant," he said. Jake's acceptance grew through small acts. He joined us for movie nights, observing our dynamic. "It's not what I expected," he admitted. "But Dad's happy." Mia's influence helped. She advocated empathy. Yet, a major conflict arose when Jake's extended family planned a reunion. Invitations excluded me implicitly, forcing choices. "Go without me," I urged David. He refused. "We're in this together." The reunion became a battleground. Arriving hand in hand, whispers erupted. Jake's uncle confronted, "This disrespects family values." David responded calmly, "Love is a family value." Jake backed him, "Times change, uncle." The clash highlighted generational rifts, societal evolution clashing with tradition. I felt like an outsider, but their defense empowered me. Post-reunion, emotions surged. Alone with David, I questioned, "Is this sustainable?" He pulled me close, "Only if we choose it." The moment crystallized our bond, amid drama's peak. But Jake's full support wavered. A late-night talk revealed lingering doubts. "What if it ends badly? I lose you both." Honesty prevailed. "We'll navigate carefully." As spring approached, renovations symbolized renewal. The house gleamed, a metaphor for our transformed lives. Yet, a final hurdle loomed: public acknowledgement. David proposed a joint art architecture exhibit, featuring my designs. "Let's own this," he said. Nerves jangled, but excitement won. The exhibit opening was electric. Guests mingled, praises flowing. But a critic's review stirred controversy. Thompson's personal life overshadows his work. Age gap romance raises eyebrows. Debates online amplified, pros and cons clashing. Supporters hailed authenticity. Detractors decried impropriety. The scrutiny tested us, but solidarity held. In quiet moments, choices defined us. I chose vulnerability, sharing our story anonymously in a blog, sparking discussions on love's boundaries. Responses varied, inspiring some, offending others. Drama crested, forcing reflection. Were we trailblazers or fools? The exhibit's success marked a turning point, but challenges persisted. Summer returned, full circle from that first renovation day. Jake, now more accepting, hosted a barbecue, friends and family mingling. Laughter filled the yard, but undercurrents of judgment lingered from conservative relatives. One cousin pulled me aside. "How do you handle the stairs?" I replied honestly, "By focusing on what's real." David and I navigated daily life, blending routines. Mornings in his kitchen, coffee brewing, conversations flowing. Simple joys amid complexity. Yet, societal pushback continued. A community event turned tense when a heckler questioned our relationship's validity. "It's not natural," they sneered. David defended eloquently, "Love defies natural. It's human." The incident fueled media buzz, our story becoming a microcosm of broader LGBTQ debates. Jake's role evolved. He became an ally defending us online. "My dad's happy. That's what matters," he posted. The support warmed, but internal conflicts remained. I grappled with identity. Was I defined by this relationship, or more? Therapy helped, unpacking emotions, attraction rooted in mutual respect, not stereotypes. High drama peaked during a family crisis. David's sister fell ill, requiring travel to California. Jake and I accompanied the trip, testing bonds. In hospital waits, conversations deepened. Jake confessed, "I was scared of change, but seeing you too, it's genuine." Tears flowed, healing rifts. The experience solidified choices, prioritizing love over fear. Back in Chicago, we settled into rhythm. David pursued his book, me freelancing more. Our connection, forged in conflict, grew resilient. Yet, controversies didn't vanish. A podcast interview amplified voices, some praising our courage, others critiquing dynamics. Power imbalance? Hosts probed. We addressed honestly, it's equal, based on trust. As seasons shifted, reflection dominated. Had we navigated wisely? Society evolved slowly, but our story contributed to dialogue. Friends' weddings highlighted contrasts, our path unconventional, but ours. In the end, the house stood renewed, a testament to transformation. David and I sat on the porch, hands entwined, watching the sunset. "No regrets," he murmured. I agreed, heart full. Was it ethically right for Alex and David to pursue their relationship despite the significant age difference and the potential harm to family and social ties? True or false?